Hello everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the Apple Watch Series 10 and compare it against the Apple Watch Series 6 and see which particular Apple Watch is the better one for you. Now, when it comes down to both, if you have all the money in the world, I would highly recommend going up to something like the Apple Watch, Series 10. I think that's a very good Apple Watch for the everyday average person. But I would look at something like the Apple Watch Series 6 as still being a pretty decent watch, but there's a lot of watches in between I'd also recommend buying. So if you want to go to any of those other watches I'd recommend buying, links will be down in the description. You can get them from there and you can help support the channel at the exact same time. Now, starting off with the outside of both these watches, the Apple Watch Series 6 on the front side comes out in two different sizes, a 44mm size and a 40mm size. So those are two good respectable sizes to wear inside of a watch. It's a good size watch too. You're getting up to 1000 nits of brightness, and it is an LTPO OLED display. So it is kind of nice to have a display like that. However, with something like the Apple Watch Series 10, this is a significantly better panel. So for one, there's way less bezel on it. It's 46 or 42 millimeters, which I think is much better and much nicer. It's a nicer type of display. On top of that, it's a 2000 nits of brightness. So it's a wide angle OLED display up to 40% brighter when viewed at an angle. So those types of things are very important to have. And if I'm going to go through and pick up a device, it is really nice to basically have that type of capability inside of a phone like inside of those particular devices when it comes down to it. So I think that right there is a very big thing to keep in mind. They both have the same type of band structure kind of going on between both as well. So that's kind of a nice thing. Both have buttons on the side, which are kind of more or less the same exact thing as well. So there really isn't like a big massive difference when it comes down to that stuff. But when it comes down to the other things, I think when it comes down to the build quality, the overall capability, something like the Apple Watch Series 10, I think is definitely going to perform at a higher level than the Apple Watch Series 6. But keep in mind, if you're selecting the bands between both, they're going to be relatively around the same. So if you're getting, whatever type of bands you're getting on both, they're going to be relatively around the same thing, which I think is a really nice thing. They both support wireless charging. They both have the same wireless charger you can use as well. So that kind of covers it up there. Now, there are a lot of newer features going on with the Apple Watch Series 10 that the Apple Watch Series 6 basically doesn't have. They both have ECG apps, they both have high and low heart rate notifications, but a big thing and a funny thing, the Apple Watch Series 10 actually does not have a blood oxygen application, where the Apple Watch Series 6 does have that application. So that right there is a very big thing to kind of keep in mind there, that if you're going to go through and pick up a watch, the Apple Watch Series 6 having that ECG app is a very big deal probably for some people, and you're going to be getting that type of capability on that watch where the Series 10 isn't really giving you that. You're getting sleep tracking on both, but you are getting sleep apnea notifications inside of the Apple Watch Series 10, which is really cool. You have a temperature sensor built in inside of the Series 10, so that Apple Watch naturally gives you temperature sensing, where the Apple Watch Series 6 only gives you cycle tracking, which it does not give you any tracking when it comes down to your temperature. They both have fall detection, but the Apple Watch Series 10 has crash detection built inside. They both give you 50 meters of water resistance and swim proof, but the Apple Watch Series 10 does give you that depth gauge to 6 meters and a water temperature sensor built in as well, which is a really nice thing. And then when it eventually cycles down to the performance, right, you are getting the S6 SIP chip inside of the Apple Watch Series 6, where you're getting the S10 chipset instead of the Apple Watch Series 10. This is once again, without a doubt, a very big difference here. And being able to go through and pick up an Apple Watch Series 10 that's going to be giving you overall more power, I think is a very important thing to keep in mind. And I, for one, if I'm going to go through and pick up a Apple Watch, it is a very nice thing of being able to go through and pick up a watch like that that's going to be giving me just overall better capability when it comes down to those things. So I think that in of itself is another very nice thing going on for that type of Apple Watch as well. The Apple Watch, Apple kind of claims that both of them are going to be giving you basically the same type of battery life, which is kind of interesting. But I would probably tell you, right, when it comes down to these types of watches, the Apple Watch Series 10 is probably going to be by far the better type of Apple Watch for the everyday average person. That is going to be the one that's going to be faster, better performing. It's going to be the better one probably for the everyday average person. But I do like something like the Apple Watch Series 6 because it is a cheaper Apple Watch, but you don't have to go for either one of these. You could also swing for something like the Apple Watch Series 7 or the Apple Watch Series 8 and get a very good type of Apple Watch from these types of devices as well. Like, you don't really have to just get the cheapest one, like the Apple Watch Series 8, like the Apple Watch Series 6. You could go for the Apple Watch Series 8 or the 7 and get a tremendous Apple Watch when it comes down to it as well. So from those types of things, that kind of covers it up there for the most part. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that will mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.